Good evening and welcome to the College of Lake County Board of Trustees meeting. We call to order and have a roll call, please.
Mr. Anderson.
Here.
Dr. Kerrigan. Dr. Finger. Present. Dr. Griffin. Ms. Howland. Mrs. Oshauger. Here. Mr. Stanton.
Present.
Mr. Lopez.
Present.
And there are a few agenda announcements before I ask for an approval of the agenda. For agenda item 11.2, position additions, reclassifications, reorganizations, deletions, and vacant positions, page 49. For position 1462, the DBM should be B21 instead of B22. I know that makes a lot of sense to all of you out there. Also, the salary should be $14.87 instead of $16.55. That makes a little more sense. And I will request a closed meeting under the Illinois Compiled Statute 5 ILCS 120, Section 2C1, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body. Section 2C3, the selection of a person to fill a vacancy in a public office. And Section 2C11, litigation when an action against, affecting, or on behalf of a particular public body has been filed and is pending before a court, or when the public body finds that an action is probable or imminent. There will be action after the closed meeting. Now I will ask for approval of the agenda. Can we have a motion, please?
Move to approve.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Lopez.
Aye.
Mr. Stanton.
Aye.
Mr. Anderson.
Aye.
Dr. Finger. Aye. Mrs. Oshauger. Aye.
We have item 2, approval of minutes. 2.1, committee of the whole from August 22nd, 2017. 2.2, regular meeting of August 22nd, 2017. And 2.3, closed meeting of August 22nd, 2017. I have a motion to approve the 3 of them.
Move to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Lopez.
Aye.
Mr. Stanton.
Aye.
Mr. Anderson.
Aye.
Dr. Finger. Aye. Mrs. Oshauger. Aye.
Receipt of notices, communications, hearings, and petitions. This is the part of the meeting where the public may address the board. If there is someone who would like to address the board, please approach the podium, which is over there, and state your name, and if available, provide your written comments or contact information to Karen Sinise after you have spoken. And we have someone approaching the podium.
Hi, my name is Gerri Songer. I asked Trustee Stanton to distribute some information. Don't worry, I don't plan on going through all of this. I just want to tell you what's there. And before I get started, I want to say thank you. I recognize that all of you volunteer a tremendous amount of time and put forth a great amount of effort, and you need to make difficult decisions at times, and that's not always easy. So as you're looking at this, please just take it as some concerns from the public, being me. I'm an educator, and there's a lot going on in education right now that causes me great concern. So I'm just going to kind of run through this as quick as I can so you can get through the rest of your meeting. I don't expect a response at this time, but maybe you could let me know when and where I could get the information. So request number 1, to facilitate the democratic process. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I was running to get here. I'm requesting that the placement and duration of public comment is specifically stated on the agenda, just to make it a little easier so people know how much time they have. Request number 2, I'm requesting that expense reports for board reimbursements, including receipts, are posted and made publicly available in a timely manner prior to trustee board meetings at which they're to be approved. This kind of ties into some of my bigger concerns with where we are in the state and local governments. Request number 3, I'm requesting that monthly reports are posted and made available to the public, identifying lobbying activities with expense reports, including receipts. Lobbyist reports are required by Springfield, so they should already be prepared. On going to page 2 and 3, I'm just going to kind of tell you what's there, and hopefully when you have some time you might be able to just take a look at it. I've got some concerns regarding the naming rights, specifically Baxter. I did a little research on this company, and I was very disturbed by what I found. Some of their, well, for example, on page 4, Baxter controversies, 1975, they were involved in a hepatitis B outbreak, 1983, prison plasma collection, and you can read more what these incidents entailed. But if you even just at first glance, I tried to highlight things to make it a little easier to follow. They don't look real reputable, and I'm not sure that this is a company that you really want affiliation with. Moving on. Request 4, I'm requesting the issue of naming rights as they pertain to Baxter International be brought back to the Board of Trustees for a vote, and that this agreement be terminated due to adverse circumstances. The board should exercise due diligence by thoroughly investigating the background of this company and by presenting this information and allowing for public comment prior to the vote. Page 6. There was a comment made by a staff report presented by Gary Grace, and the comment, I have a question regarding one of his comments, addressing the issue of ownership once and for all of the building. I believe he was talking about the University Center here. We understand that the building and the equipment that amassed over the last 15 years will revert to the college, and we don't want that to slip away to somebody else. So my question is who that somebody else would be and why. And just kind of moving forward, I've got some of the, the master plan and some of the projects that are currently underway or will soon be underway, and the dollar amounts that they were totaling to the best of my research. And I've got some kind of rhetorical questions. I'm just hoping that these are points that maybe you did think of, but if not, I was hoping that you would at least consider, think about. I took a look at CLC financials on page 9. From 2003 to 2016, total revenue has almost doubled, as have expenses. And so it went from about 78 million to about 153 million in revenue, and 79 million to 146 million in expenses. So over the duration of the past 13 years, revenue has nearly doubled, as have expenses, and as has the debt. So on page 10, you can take a look. 2007 to 2016, CLC went from 17 million to about 71 million. So with all these projects underway and the accumulation of debt, as a taxpayer living in Lake County, I'm concerned. But then there's the bigger issue on page 11. On top of page 11, is it fiscally responsible to carry $71 million in total outstanding debt, which is nearly 4 times that which has been carried historically based on the information available online? So the state level, when you put that together with what's going on at the state level, the state continues to spend more than it generates in revenue while increasing debt. As of fiscal year 2016, the state collected $68 billion. They spent $73 billion, and they increased their debt to about $174 billion. Most of that is pension from the 5 state pension systems. And if you take a look at page 12, this is what I find extraordinarily alarming. If you take a look at 2015, 2016, we were at 109 and about 116 billion. And if you take a look to the left, they were only scheduled to be at about 5 billion. Well, if that's where we're at now, take a look at where we're at by 2045. That's what I find alarming. We've not even hit the beginning of this upslope. So I don't see much money coming from the state, and in fact, I see things being driven down to the local level.
Can we summarize a little more, because we do have to move on here.
I understand. This isn't sustainable. There was a $7 billion increase. So at this rate, we'd be looking at an additional 2,003 billion over the current 116 billion. And as an educator at the local level, my own district went from 9 million to 57 million in employer contributions. So request number 5, I'm requesting the board only approve construction consisting exclusively of essential maintenance projects, and that the board prioritize repayment of debt and hiring of FTEs over adjunct staff until a point in time that investing in facility expansion is financially reasonable and feasible. Request 6, I'm requesting comparisons, minimum 3, with summaries and explanations including information pertaining to number of employees, employee pay, cost of products, services, retained profit by company, and etc. are posted and made publicly available 3 weeks prior to a vote for approval at board trustee meetings. Request 7, I'm requesting trustee voting policy that states voting will not take place the same day new items are discussed. Voting should be scheduled a minimum of 1 board meeting after the board discussion takes place regarding agenda items to allow for follow-up review, public comment, and diligent and due consideration. Request 8, I'm requesting that the board cite the statutes authorizing the treasurer to make budget transfers as recommended on June 27, 2017, the monthly financial report. And I've cited some statutes there that caused me to question the transfers. And my last question is from this today's agenda. There was a lot of expense paid for flood damage, and I'm just curious as to whether or not the flood damage would be covered by insurance. And that's it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments from the audience?